Sanibone emakhaya igama lami uSicelo Ngubane. I hope today you're going to enjoy our today's episode. We are having our guest today. Please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Refilwe Mputi.
Thank you so much. So today we're talking about something emnand, something interesting, money, our relationship with money. Can we speak about money? What do you think is the problem with us as human beings and our behavior about money?
Look, I think most of us, especially us as the Africans, we've got such a long distance relationship with our money. So we don't want to have conversations about money. We don't want to talk about money. And also, it dates back to how we grew up. You know, we never spoke about money. We did not speak about saving. We did not speak about budgeting and so forth. Yeah. And this now, this is why we are met with this problem where we don't have a relationship with money.
Yeah. So now you see a lot of us become consumers. We get your money now, we spend it now. What are the causes of that?
I think the causes of that are bad financial, habits.
Habits, yeah.
Yeah, the bad financial habits that we have that, we have to spend our money. Money is for spending. So people fail to plan for their future. People, they always want to live in the now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But guna saying about yolo.
Okay.
You only live once.
Okay.
So people want to live in the now, so they want to spend their money. Our money never even reaches, the following month, My one friend said to me, my biggest financial goal this year. So he gets paid on the 25th.
Yeah.
He said, "Nye 24, I want a positive balance in my account.
Okay.
A day before I get paid, and I will know that I've made it."
So you need to have a discussion about your behavior about money and where your money is going. And the issue about budgeting, how important is budgeting?
So budgeting is very important. So, essentially, it is very important for you to be able to account for your money.
Okay.
So you need to know where your money is going. So this is how much you're getting on a monthly basis, 5,000 Rand. If I had to ask you, a week later, Babu Ngubane, what did you do in 5,000 yako? You should be able to tell me, 8,000 I paid rent, the other I paid school fees, the other I used for transport and so forth and so forth and so forth. Okay. So you need to categorize your expenses. And, now that we are in such a difficult time as an economy, you need to be prioritizing on your needs. So it's very important to be able to account for your money. Where is your money going?
You find yourself after having money and you ask yourself, what happened to my money? I think that's one part that we don't look at for budget. That budget is not only for to do, it's also for after effect. Then when you sit down and say, yes, angenzanga lutho, because you may feel like angenzanga lutho, but when you look at your budget, you've paid the rent, you have paid for school fees, you've paid for transport, you've bought groceries, all of those things listed. Now you can know where you've taken your money. So you're saying we need to improve on our reporting that where did your money go?
So we need to improve on where did your money go, but also not forgetting that, that alone is living from hand to mouth, right?
Okay.
So you saying, okay, I received 5,000 and I did this and this and this and that. That's your current self. Now, what about your future self?
Okay.
Did you, pay yourself first? We like to speak about the lions.
Yeah.
So the rule of the lion says that after the female hunts for the prey, now she doesn't eat first. The male eats first, right?
Okay.
Now we say essentially, after you receive your income at the end of the month, you should be saving at 10% for your future self. And this is how we label it, paying yourself first. But you're not paying your current self, you're paying your future self.
Wow. So you need to think about your future. How do I want to have my life in the future, especially the financial part of things? And in terms of our families, we normally, when you have your pay slip, you're a fihla, you don't show anybody. And maybe it's because we don't want people to know how much we're earning and all of that. And how can we improve on that? Because our families need to be able to know what you can afford, what is that you cannot afford.
Such an important statement that you made with what can you afford and what you can't afford. So the most important thing is always sitting down with your family and having an honest conversation with your family.
Okay.
So especially in a household where you are married, it's a married couple, you should be very open with your pay slips. So it's very important to have an honest conversation with your family about what you can't afford and what it is that you can afford, so that you also minimize the expectations. You minimize also the anxiety and the depression that people think you have money that you don't even have. And also the importance of sitting down and also having that honest conversation between you and your spouse is that you may find that you guys are both paying for something that, one person could be saving and the other could be saving on that money. So let me make a typical example, medical aid. We're both on separate medical aids. That as a household does not make financial sense. So essentially, the tip would be that one partner falls onto the other medical aid, then you discuss to say, le 2,000 what are we going to do with it? Are we going to hold it into our bond? Are we going to hold it into the children's school fees? What are we going to do to actually assist, the household financially?
So if you plan together, you are able to have more understanding. You spoke about living below your means. Can you say more about that?
So, I love that saying actually. So, we used to say that, no, people must live within their means, living within your means. So, to simplify that, what we meant by living within your means was that you should not live beyond your means. So let me make a typical example. So you get an income of 5,000 Rand a month. So we're saying your expenses should not even be more than 5,000 because now that means you're living beyond your means. Now, when we said you must live within your means, we meant that you must live within the 5,000. But now, unfortunately, we live in a realistic world where you need to be saving for unforeseen circumstances where you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So now we say that you must live below your means. So you're receiving 5,000 Rand. You should be spending at least 3.5 within the 5,000 Rand so that you're saving the other 1.5 or even 1,000 Rand in an emergency fund for unforeseen, situations and unforeseen circumstances that may happen and may come, unexpectedly.
You also spoke about the showing off behavior, that when you have money, you want people to know and see that you have money, and you say more about it.
So I like to use the analogy of a peacock. I say a peacock is very beautiful, right? And it's very colorful as well. But now apparently when it sees people as well, it opens its wings like this. It wants you to see how beautiful it is, right? And how, it's bragging now. Now, we say that most people are invited to wedding celebrations, they're invited to birthday parties and so forth. Most of these invites come with a theme. Refilwe, come to my birthday party. The theme is all white with a touch of gold. I go into my wardrobe looking for this theme, and I find that no, my white, within. Now, but we're gonna do the most biggest financial mistake, because now I'm gonna go to my wallet and check my purse. Where do I have, clothing accounts? I'm going to buy things that I don't need with money that I don't have to impress people that I don't like. So our tip is very simple. Don't use your money to show off and to brag. Your money should be used to build what we call a generational wealth.
So we even stealing from our future, because if you are going to take money that you don't have, it means futuristically you are going to have to repay that money. So it means you have now starting to eat from your future, and without really thinking about it, to say, if these people are giving me this credit or they're giving me this money that I don't have now, where would I get it in the next space of time? So it means I must work so that I can fulfill that debt, which is very, very bad. And they behave about the money. And about the children. Today's children, they're spending a lot. One time I was speaking with my daughter, and I said to her, if I give you 20 Rand, today and you don't spend it afternoon, I'm going to give you another one. He said, don't try me. I'm going to finish it today. What can we do to teach the children to be less consumers?
So, the first step is always teaching them, the habits of saving. So, in January, January, you find, kiddies party box, piggy bags. Piggy bags are being sold on the streets. We're all buying these things. And then, along the way, we miss the point. So the reason for that is, you teaching them that, a little goes a long way. So I like to make an example with a 50 Rand, note. So this is the reality of most of us. You spend 50 Rand on an Idlanati meal, 50 rand times 5 will give you how much? 250. 250 times 4 will give you how much? 1,000 rand. 1,000 rand times 12 will give you how much? 12,000 rand. Most of us do not even have this amount in waiting for, unforeseen circumstances, waiting for emergencies sitting in our pocket. So we say that a little goes a long way. And, with kids, you need to teach them, the habits of saving, number one. Number two, the habits of budgeting, number two. And number three, also the value of money. So I say to my brother is so smart. There's a brother of mine who's Sakile. Sakile is so smart. He likes to give me a 20 rand note. And then he says, Sisi ngiyakboleka le 20 rand. Friday, ngicela kuyi 40 rand.
Wow.
This is now the habit of him understanding interest. What is interest? What is interest rate?
Wow.
We need to have these conversations with our children as well.
Wow. I think that will make a serious impact of the behavior with money, because our relationship with money starts when we start working. And you realize already there, it's messed up.
Yeah.
Because already now you're a peacock, you want to impress, you want to show off. And now it's only day to us, you could
Yeah.
and say, but we don't know what might pull me up.
Yeah.
And I believe that if we can teach from a very young age a behavior about money, we'll have a lot of success in the Black community. Do you think people have a problem of poverty, or we have a serious problem about managing money? Because some people, when you look at certain shows, people have a lot of money, but you don't know where that money goes. Shouldn't we have a session or a subject where in schools it's compulsory to learn about money? Because I think if there's one thing that you're going to all deal with, whether you're rich or poor, it's money. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think it's not an issue of poverty.
Yeah.
I think it's an issue of, of overspending because of, bad financial habits. Also, I like what you said. You said we steal from our future.
Yeah.
So also, let's say you've got an investment plan. You find people, needing money and going to, steal from their future. Now, when you borrow from an investment, it means you are owing yourself. You are owing that future self, because now you've taken away, and now it means there's a gap now. Who must fill in that gap? It means you're owing yourself. You're owing your future self. So essentially, people, have such bad financial habits in such a way that people don't think about the consequences of what they do. They don't think about the future. People just live for the now.
They always say there are three kinds of people. There are those who live and say, what happened? They're always wondering what happened. And they say the second group is those who wonder what happened.
Yeah.
And the last group is those who make things happen. I think the biggest problem with our people in our society today is less habits. People don't play sports. People don't partake in many things. So that's why they end up having to show off in their daily lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we also, we speak about the reality of the fact that we're not taught about money in school. We're not taught about money in the homes that we live in the households that we live in. So you find that, like for example, let's talk about a soccer star.
Yeah.
From what age will a soccer star, start, in their prime? It's 16?
Yeah.
14? Such a young age, right? Most of them, end up not even going to school. Now, who must teach you about how to manage this salary? When bokera 5 rand. You were given 5 rand, every single week to manage that 5 rand, and now all of a sudden you're a soccer star. You're given this, huge amounts of money, thousands of money, and then you're expected to now, supposedly now be able to manage these monies and be able to manage your finances without assistance. So it's very important. I think financial education is such an imperative topic that we need to, hone and and emphasize, especially from a young age. Where we are, making people understand that people should be having a close relationship with money. Because also remember, what makes us also have a long distance relationship with money is this thing of always checking, what do you qualify for? What do you qualify for? Overly indebted. We are also overly indebted as Africans.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. You spoke about the other day, we need to have a good relationship with money, that we must love money. We must speak positive about money. Can you say more about that?
So,
I love that part.
So I like to say that, when you when you want to have a relationship with money, you speak about money, you pray about money, you want to speak it into your life,
Wow.
and also, together with doing that, there are actionable goals that you're supposed to do.
Okay.
So for example, you find that 80% of your money is going to debts. Now this is you having to sit down and saying, I need to prioritize getting rid of these debts, because when I get rid of these debts, I will, get closer to my money,
wow.
because your money is not reaching you. Because why? It's going to other people. It's going to debts and so forth. I like to make an example with a typical relationship, to say that if my partner lives in Cape Town and I live in Gauteng, I mean, probably I'll see him like once a month, right? And he will come on a Friday, right? And go back on a Sunday.
True.
So I say that, because as Africans, we have such a long distance relationship with our money, it also works the same. It comes in year 15, year 17, it's gone, nowhere to be found. You cannot even trace what you did with your money. It drive through, basically, So I say that, we need to also work on getting rid of our debts, understanding our credits, understanding our credit bureau, accessing our credit profiles also, and understanding the interest that you're charged on our debts as well.
Wow. So be futuristic and say, what kind of a future do you want with your money, so that you don't find yourself in a challenge where now you're unhappy about money. And
you're also in a cycle, an unending cycle. You're borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. You're borrowing from Paul to pay Palesa. You and Boma Shonisa are like this. You are friends. Even when you knock, they know it's you. There you know that it's you. So work on strategies of getting rid of debt so that you have a more closer relationship with your money, and it's working for you and also working for your future self.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Can you just say last words to our viewers at home about their money and encouraging them to say, we're going to be rich, we're going to be billionaires and millionaires. So far, no pigs will not even the and all of that. Yeah, can you say something?
So I want to talk about this topic. I really, really love this topic. It's such an interesting topic, and it's such a relevant topic, especially for our young generation now, and also the types of situations that we get ourselves in. So it's very, very important for you to also understand that the types of relationships that you're in, the type of marriage that you're also in, affects you financially.
Okay.
So let me talk about typically fat and set. People will think I have fat and set. So now fat and set, the laws have changed. So there's no such a thing that because we've been together for 20 years, I'm entitled to your assets.
Oh, okay.
So there's no such a thing. So if ngingathenga umbhede ne-TV, ngihlezi kwakho emzini wakho, the law says okukwakho okwakho. Okay. Everything that is in your home is yours. Unless I've got proof to say that I bought this fridge, here is the statement of account, or here are the receipts, then I can leave with these assets. But other than that, I'm entitled to nothing with fat and set. So even if you died, sihleli so you too, if your kids come and say, no, Refile, move out, it is exactly that, because the law says that now there are so many options and marriage regimes that are available, that you can go into. Why didn't you register your relationship? Why didn't you
so the relationship can be registered?
Yes.
Oh wow. Okay.
So you can register your relationship and say that we are in a partnership, for example. So also understand those financial implications. Draft wills, guys. There's nothing as important as drafting a will these days, more especially because we see ifalami gugiti la ekaya. People are there, debating and fighting about izindlu, and assets and so forth. Because why? Our parents, they fail to write a will.
Okay.
But then suddenly a side chick comes up.
Oh yeah.
A side chick that can prove that they were financially dependent on you. The law says that anyone that can prove that they were financially dependent on you for longer than 6 months can claim from your estate. So it's very important that now we are also looking at the fact that there are multiple marriage regimes. So, let us get away from the thing, no, therefore, also to prove my love, now I need to get into community or property. We live in a generation where now, people are, not at the same levels, and also life becomes unfair because you find also you're coming, with children from your previous relationships, and you're unable to also secure your assets for your children from outside marriage. So writing a will is very important. Understanding the marriage regime that you are in is also very important. How your assets will be distributed is also very important. So that is the most important fact that I would like to highlight.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I hope you're going to come again. There's so much information that we have gained from you. And also, you make money to be an interesting topic, you know. Our fan will cash. With my figure, when we talk about money, we want to run away.
Yeah.
Thank you for simplifying the talk about money. And I believe that we need more of these talks and discussion about money, because prevention is better than cure. You spoke about behavior of relationship, that it needs to be registered and all of that. In that.
All right. So let me start by saying that in South Africa, there's only 2 types of marriage contracts, right?
Okay.
So in community of property, then there's out of community of property, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then the one that says, out of community of property has 2 options. Okay. So you can, it's almost like a beef, chicken, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So there is out of community of property with accrual, and then there's out of community of property without accrual. Okay. So the one that says without accrual is the most simplest one. So what is yours, what is mine is mine. Okay. We only share the marriage certificate and the children. Then in a case where children are minors, the magistrate, is comfortable to say, let the mother, be the primary caregiver. Okay. Unless the father wants to prove otherwise. To say, no, she's not a fit parent, and then they'll need to provide proof to the court and will win full custody over the children. Okay. So that's the most simplest one, right? And then there's out of community of property now with the accrual. Sorry, you take the accrual. Now, the one that says with accrual means that you and your spouse will only share the assets accrued from date of marriage up until date of divorce. So let's say sajola 3 years. Okay. But then in the 3 years, you had your own assets, I had my own assets. Then together we got married now, then we bought a house, and then we accumulated other assets. Yeah. The assets that you had before the date of marriage was registered, you cannot claim within that. You cannot claim with that. So they look at the assets that were accrued from date of marriage up until date of divorce. Okay. Now this contract is tricky. We only share the good stuff and not the bad stuff. So your debts are yours. My debts are mine.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
So let me make a typical example. So with a pension fund, for example, I work for company A. I'm accumulated pension fund, right? So now they'll look at my pension fund and they'll say, Urifilwe has been working for us for 10 years. But within the 10 years, kule 5 years, besithi Miss Mput. And then kule 5 years, Mrs. Ngubani. Okay. So she was, single for 5 and married in the 5. So my spouse, should we go through a divorce, is only able to claim within the 5 years where we were married. Okay. So from date of marriage, then they'll look at, if we are finalizing our divorce up until the date of where our divorce is being finalized. Okay. So we only share assets and not liabilities. No liabilities.
You spoke about the fact that there is a registration of relationship. I want to ask, in terms of can you say umuntu ngilobolile? Does that also mean it's recognized as umshado, or is different according to the laws of South Africa?
So the law of South Africa says that lobola is customary marriages, right? So it says that once you pay lobola and you go through the lobola process, we then recognize you as married in community of property. Okay.
What do you mean by process?
The process. Yeah. All right. So thank you, for that. So the process is 3 things that need to happen. So number 1, they write the letter to say that we saw a beautiful flower, Kwamputi, right? Yes. And then the bride's family will also respond to say, all right, we agree, the negotiation date is so forth, so forth. So those letters are very important, number 1. And then number 2 is the date where the negotiation now takes place, right? Okay. Malome and whatnot. Yes. Now, on that day, once you accept, yes. Now, once you accept any monies, then the third process is now the day of the celebration. We are cooking, we are drinking, we are dancing. That day is very important. Now, what is smart ladies and smart gents on this day? Selfie. The malume side, you're taking pictures. Malume side, your family, you're taking pictures. You're wearing your little regalia. Now, they say that once that process has been done, we recognize you as married in community of property.
Oh, wow.
So what does this mean? Uhleli nami, sahlala 3 years, I refeel now you're with another woman. Now, the law says that once I provide this proof to the Department of Home Affairs, your second lobola, if you start lobolaring the second person, it's null and void. It's not recognized.
Oh, wow. So you need to be aware of these laws, and so that we discuss them prior even, signing, because we don't know. Sometimes people don't know what they're signing their life into. Now, what happens if it's temp?
Now, with a polygamy, we say that with a polygamy, all the wives are equal.
Okay.
So there's a reason why yazini umamkhulu kungesintu, right? Ukuthi umamkhulu we recognize your position ukuthi ufike wena kuqala.
Okay.
But ask yourself why mamkhulu has to go to Department of Home Affairs you approve ukuthi uthatha upalisa. Why? You're openly saying, yes, I'm sharing my assets. I'm willing to share my assets with the other wives.
Okay.
Because now without your permission, awukwazi ukuthathiwa ubani number 2. But also remember, if you made the mistake of marrying umamkhulu in community of property, it means upalisa remains a side chick. More especially when umamkhulu is not agreeing to go through a divorce process so that uzokhona ukuthi uthathe ubani number 2. So now in a polygamy, none of us have that marriage certificate etini we are married in community of property. Yeah.
I think it's important to emphasize because umamkhulu plays a very important role as Tenjin. You cannot just have his temple by force or by trick. There must always be an agreement.
Absolutely.
And all of that. Thank you for clarifying that. And I think it's going to make more light so that, because those things mustn't show emotionally, we lose certain, aspects to say, and I think if these things are discussed prior, we'll be able to make informed decisions.
Absolutely. No. Absolutely. Especially in a case where you find yourself, you did not, remember before the lobola process, our tip is that go to Department of Home Affairs and, decide out of or in community.
Ask what's there.
What are the options that are available?
Yeah.
Because then if you find yourself married in community or property, your spouse is entitled to 50% of your assets and they inherit 50% of your debts as well. That is in community of property.
Okay.
You inherit 50% of their debts. You also inherit 50% of their assets. And now also the financial implications of being married in community of property means that, let's say, for example, we are married in community of property. You've got a child outside of marriage.
Yeah.
Then it happens that you become retrenched or unemployed and you're unable to financially maintain your child. Your baby mama has a legal right to come to me as your wife to claim for the child's maintenance. Because remember, what is mine is yours. And what is yours is mine. So that is in community of property. And also in community of property, unfortunately, you cannot exclude your partner from your will. Automatically, the letter, my pale in community of property, they are automatically entitled to 50% of your estate.
Oh, wow. I think Umthetho is put it to make a lot of peace about sharing and also looking at in the background that there will be a lot of mama that will be left because in terms of assets and all of that and how their relationship used to be recognized. So I think this time around Umthetho is really trying to make things to be
it's
sane.
doing the things. It's doing because remember baba bethu emakhaya ushiya loboluma uze goli hleli nomunye and ashonele kuye lo ashonele kulo wala egoli. Then now what does the law say? Womuphi umfazi now, so now that's why bathi lo oqala isinqumo sakhe sokuqala they recognize that one.
Oh wow. Thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode as we're speaking about into zemali and relationship and our behavior about money. Thank you so much.
Thank you.